Good morning everyone. Today our group will present to you about the comparison of glass and plastic packaging on cosmetic industry, specifically on moisturizing creams. Hope you enjoy our presentation.
Our presentation is rather simple today. We will start off by discussing the differences between glass and plastic packaging, followed by the characteristics and properties of moisturizing creams in the field of packaging technology. After that, we will evaluate the rationale of choosing between glass or plastic packaging technology. And then we will introduce the manufacturing process as well as the materials and why we chose it. And we will end our presentation by providing a few recommendations. This is Chan Q Hey Steve, and I will talk about the differentiation between glass and plastic packaging technology. Let me introduce some types of glass that are commonly seen in our daily lives, like commercial glass, that are the glass doors, lead glass, borosilicate glass, that are the measuring cups, as well as glass fiber. Some plastic that we use in packaging technology are, in short, PS, PP, PET, PE, and PVC. Among them, PP and PET will be discussed in detail in our presentation later. Please look forward to it. When it comes to the variance between glass and plastic packaging, we have come up with a few distinct features to discuss. First of all, glass packaging has a transparent look, while plastic packaging could be transparent or opaque, and even colorful depending on the materials. Glass packaging is usually heavier than plastic. Both packaging styles are rigid in hardness, but sometimes plastic packaging could be squeezable to save up some space. For their durability, glass packaging is fragile, but plastic packaging is more durable most of the times as they are unbreakable. Glass packaging involves and requires higher manufacturing and transportation costs than plastic packaging as well. Glass packaging is more heat resistant than plastic packaging. And last but not least, according to a research conducted in 2015, customers think glass packaging is more decorative and clean, and they will assume products in glass packaging are more high quality in general. But for plastic packaging, consumers may think the products would be daily goods that are more everyday and common.
Thank you, Steve, for talking about the difference between glass and plastic packaging. Hello, everyone, I'm Desmond, and now I will tell you something about the characteristics and properties of cosmetic cream. Then, for the types of container. Most likely, the cream will be stored in either jar, which allow users to take the fingertip unit easily, or pump bottles. Let's talk about the types of cream first. There are a variety of cream in the market, and most of them can be separated by their purpose. For example, some cream is designated for normal skin, while others can be creams specially for dry skin, oily skin, or even a combination of them. For the chemical one, creams are antioxidant, which inhibit oxidation, and the other two natures are emollient and moisturizing. For example, I think most of you who have used cream before may be having this kind of experience, which will help you relieve unpleasant feeling caused by itching. And that's because of the two significant nature, emollient and moisturizing. Regarding the ingredient of cream, as what I've said before, Cream are a mixture of mostly water and oil, but sometimes different creams will possess some unique ingredients to enhance its functionality. For instance, collagen is added to a cream to slow the rate of water loss from the skin and help keep the skin supple. Last but not least, damage sensitivity. Generally, cosmetic cream will have a shelf life of 1 to 3 years under normal storage conditions. However, the time could be shortened if they are not stored in a cool and dry place away from direct sunlight, owing to the growth of bacteria and fungi. Let's move on to its physical nature. Creams are actually semi-solid emulsion, which are a mixture of oil and water, and the consistency depends on whether the emulsion are oil in water type or water in oil type.
My name is Devin, and I'm going to talk about the rationale of choosing plastic over glass packaging technology. With the basic background knowledge from first and second point discussed before, we can now choose which packaging we pick for our cream product. And we choose plastic jar packaging as shown in the picture to store our cream product. There are several reasons why we choose plastic. So here are the 5 factors why we choose plastic over glass packaging. First factor is the durability. Plastic has higher durability and sustainability than glass. Glass is very breakable while plastic isn't. This makes plastics is easier to be used in daily life without being afraid of breaking its packaging. Second point is about the transportation cost. Plastic takes lower transportation cost and is safer to be transported than glass. Glass takes up more space because it is fragile and can't be packed as tightly as plastic, resulting in glass materials being distributed in more boxes and shipments and needing extra packaging. From the economic point of view, the additional cost to package and ship glass is always more expensive than plastic. Therefore, we choose plastic over glass. Third factor is plastic packaging produces less harm toward environment during package production. The process to produce plastic begins with distilling crude oil to separate the oil out. The next step is to link monomers together into the chain. Because plastic are lighter than glass during production, they require fewer raw materials and emit fewer greenhouse gases for the same amount of packaging. On the other hand, glass is created when the raw material is heated and cooled rapidly. Because of this process, glass takes twice as much energy to produce than plastic and uses high amount of fossil fuels to attain the high temperatures that make the formation of glass possible. Another factor is due to its heavier weight, glass also uses more energy, oil, and gas to transport the same amount of material, resulting in a larger carbon footprint which leads to greenhouse effect, global warming, and climate changes. Therefore, we pick plastics. The fourth factor is plastic is more flexible than glass, making it easier to be molded, which enables brand to build identity to create pleasant appearance that can be part of brand's own marketing strategy to attract customers to buy our cream product. Last but not least, we'll talk about the permeability and heat-resistant factors. Plastic is more permeable than glass. On the other hand, glass has higher heat resistance than plastic. Looking at the cream characteristic discussed before, it is shown that they need to be kept dry, cool to keep its quality and texture better. From the chemical properties of the packaging and cream explained, glass is indeed better than plastic. However, we are going to pack the cream in small quantity and weight and stored in small plastic jar packaging. Therefore, it will be used in short period of time due to daily usage. This means that the quality won't be affected much by the permeability and heat resistant factor. Besides, people usually use cream like lotion or night cream at home without making the packaging being exposed too much to extreme temperature or weather. In conclusion, we can say that plastic packaging durability, transportation cost, and environmental factor advantages is better than its own disadvantages, which is in the permeability and heat resistant factors. That's why we choose plastic over glass.
Let me give you a real-life example. Hand Skincare Cosmetic, a cosmetic brand from the US which released a wide range of cosmetic products including cream. Choose plastic packaging over glass packaging because of the foaming factor which Devin has mentioned before. And for the reusing and recycling part, even though glass can be 100% recycled, but in the US, there are still a lot of glass in the landfill. So after they have deliberation over those four factors, they still choose plastic packaging over the glass one.
My name is Torehan. I will consider manufacturing process. Let's consider manufacturing process of plastic. In most cases, plastic packages for pharmaceutical and cosmetical products are created from the next polymers: polyethylene, polymethyl methacrylate, polyethylene terephthalate, polytetrafluoroethylene, diamine formaldehyde, and polyamides. Usually, these polymers are found in mixed form with contain additives. Thus, manufacturing for pharmaceutical purpose must be free of substances that can be extracted in significant quantities by the product contained. Manufacturing process can be divided on four main types: plastic injection molding, blow molding, thermoforming, but it is not used for liquid product packaging because it's more used for simpler and open objects, and compression molding, but it's also not used for liquid product packaging because it's more used for flat, relatively flat objects. Let's consider plastic injection molding. Injection molding is the most used manufacturing process for the fabrication of plastic parts. The plastic is melted in the injection molding machine, as it is illustrated on the image below, and then injected into the mold where it cools and solidifies into the final parts. Injection blow molding is the best processing choice for producing the highest quality plastic bottle containers that consistently meet close tolerance pharmaceutical specifications. Plastic jars usually are made by these methods. Blow molding. In the blow molding process, air pressure is used to inflate softened plastic into the shape of a mold. The mold is then removed, and you are left with a seamless plastic container. The process can be used for everything from water bottles to automotive parts and everything in between. Usually, plastic pump bottles for cream use this method of manufacturing. It requires much less tools than injection molding.
Now let's stop on the materials of the chosen glass or plastic packaging and the reasons of choosing it.
Plastic as a packaging material. The use of plastic for producing primary components and point-of-sale material now dominates packaging technology. There are two types of plastics: thermoplastic resin and thermosetting resin. The first one, after cooling, can be remelted, while the second one is a part of process where it's molded using a reversible chemical reaction, and the resin tends to get rigid, hard, and insoluble, and unaffected by the heat. Now let's answer the question: what and why do you use the plastics for, especially in cosmetics industry? I would like to talk about several plastic types that are commonly used in the cosmetics packaging. First one is PET plastic, or polyethylene. It is considered to be the most common thermoplastic polymer resin of the polyester family. Usually it's used in fibers for jars, containers for liquids, and foods, including PET bottles. One more plastic type is PP plastic, polypropylene. It is also a thermoplastic polymer used in a wide variety of applications, including packaging and labeling and textiles, and it is known to be unusually resistant to many chemicals, including bases and acids.
One more plastic type commonly used in cosmetics industry is PMMA plastic, also known as acrylic or acrylic glass. It is more lightweight and more shatter resistant. The last type of plastic we're going to talk about is AS and ABS plastic. Its glass appearance is amorphous, therefore has no true melting point. This list is only a highlight of the main plastic types used in the cosmetic industry. There are way more alternatives for the given materials. However, we have tried to highlight the most used one and the most practical one. Now let's answer the question, what and why do you use the plastics for, especially in cosmetics industry? I would like to talk about several plastic types that are commonly used in the cosmetics packaging. First one is PET plastic or polyethylene. It is considered to be the most common thermoplastic polymer resin of the polyester family. Usually it's used in fibers for jars, containers for liquids, and foods, including PET bottles. One more plastic type is PP plastic, polypropylene. It is also a thermoplastic polymer used in a wide variety of applications, including packaging and labeling and textiles. And it is known to be unusually resistant to many chemicals, including bases and acids. One more plastic type commonly used in cosmetics industry is PMMA plastic, also known as acrylic or acrylic glass. It is more lightweight and more shatter resistant. The last type of plastic we're going to talk about is AS and ABS plastic. Its glass appearance is amorphous, therefore has no true melting point. This list is only a highlight of the main plastic types used in the cosmetic industry. There are way more alternatives for the given materials. However, we have tried to highlight the most used one and the most practical one.
Now we are going to suggest some recommendations. We divide the recommendation into two parts based on the skincare market, which will be explained in the next slide. The premium one will be explained by me, Sharon, and the mass market will be explained by Aruzan. As mentioned before, we divide the recommendations based on the skincare market. We are going to suggest some new idea about the packaging to enhance the environmental sustainability in the moisturizing packaging. Why we categorize the recommendations based on the premium and mass market? Because both categories now are mainly using plastic as their packaging, but they have different target markets. In this view, we would like to suggest new recommendations based on the target market itself, which aims for different functions of packaging. Hence, we will describe further about our recommendations. Premium market skincare brands means those which categorize into luxury brands. Usually the target market of this category includes upper middle class consumers. This type of consumer usually has a tendency to be a loyal consumer that prioritize quality over quantity. It is essential to keep this customer base engaged, especially through the quality of packaging. They would prefer more brands with glass packaging over plastic packaging, for example, Tata Harper or Dior. However, research shows that glass production is potentially damage our ecosystem because they usually use natural materials. This becomes one of the reasons why our group chose plastic as well. However, plastic packaging is studied to fail in engaging upper middle class consumers, which the reason will be explained in the next slide. So, we decide to suggest a new and fresh recommendation, which is sustainable packaging optimization by glass recycling. So now I'm going to explain more about the functions of this new recommendation. The first one, upper middle class consumers do not prefer plastic packaging because it contains harmful chemical materials such as BPA and phthalates. Research shows that these harmful materials in plastic packaging are only tested for food packaging but not for skincare packaging. Hence, these materials are usually will be included in the skincare packaging without consumer knowledge. Additionally, luxury brands have more complex formula, which needs more advanced packaging technology. But non-recyclable glass packaging are also not recommended as it is not eco-friendly as I mentioned before. Hence, recycled glass packaging are more recommended for premium skincare market as it offers better protection. It is relatively impermeable to air and moisture, also chemical resistant to most medicinal products. Most luxury brands contain active chemical ingredients like retinol, vitamin C, or niacinamide, which require protection from UV light. By using recycled packaging, it tackles the limitation of plastic packagings as it is UV protected and safe for complex ingredients. Additionally, it is refillable and 100% eco-friendly as the production doesn't use natural materials anymore. Instead, they utilize used glass packaging. The strength of recycled glass packaging could be used to enhance the marketing strategy of the brand. This could increase brand awareness to promote safety and green technologies, consumer awareness about environmental and brand's competitive advantage. Research conducted by Orzen et al. Shows that 51% of their respondents prefer glass packaging even though it is more expensive. As we can see from the chart as well, more than 50% from Generation Z to Generation X chose eco-friendly products as they aware with the current environmental issues. Most upper middle consumers are also included in those three generations. It is extremely important that pharmaceuticals are kept at their optimal temperature as any slight change can affect the medicine's properties. Recycled glass packaging is fantastic at regulating the temperature of products as it doesn't react to changing temperatures by losing structure or leaking chemicals. This could happen because recycled glass packaging will have the same quality as new glass packaging because of their natural materials. Additionally, recent developments have showed lightweight sustainable glass packaging which can be one of the most competitive advantages over plastic in terms of their practicality in transport processes.
Thank you very much, Sharon. And hi everyone, my name is Aro, and I will go on talking about our recommendation for mass market skincare brands packaging. So firstly, it should be noted that current mostly used packaging type is plastic, and there are some obvious public concerns on packaging waste and eventual ecology and health harm of plastic. So that's why our recommendation is about adhering to a sustainable mixed paper and plastic packaging, which results in substantial decrease of plastic content of packaging through prevalence of paper. Now it's time to talk about functionality aspect of our sustainable mixed paper and plastic package. This package is all about respecting biodiversity and environment, using only necessary components and optimal ratios of paper and plastic, and replacing high-impact materials that are harmful for both our health and ecology. So, first of all paper and wood fiber materials used within our production are going to be from responsibly managed forests with biodiversity protection offered by different non-commercial forest-saving organizations. And secondly, all the unavoidable plastic used in our production is going to be from recycled materials. And finally, all paperboard types used will be made from compostable or disgradable, also water and oil resistant depending on the consistency of our creams products. Discuss the transportation aspect in terms of our recommendation for mass marketing skincare brands. First of all, as we discussed on previous slide, lightweight packaging can be reached by eliminating the unnecessary high-impact components from the conventional type of manufacture. So that's why there are several advantages of lightweight packaging. Firstly, it reduces greenhouse gas emissions, and secondly, reduces the costs incurred for transportation, and thirdly, consumes less energy because to accelerate a lighter object than a heavier one takes less energy, and that is why 10% increase in vehicle weight results in 6 to 8% fuel economy. To be discussed as a marketing strategy, and first of all I want you all to refer to the results of the US outsourcing company survey on eco-friendliness of people, and 70% of the survey respondents chose eco-friendliness as at least a somewhat important factor in choosing a product. That's why it implies that sustainability is a current driver of demand, and that is the reason of our focus on green-conscious customers. And overall, our all-embracing commitment to eco-friendliness will first consist of alignment between practices within the production and vision of the company, which is shown through advertisement campaigns. And number 2 is about being not limited to eco-friendly packaging, but also adhering to environmentally conscious production. And the last point is in leveraging communities' initiatives on eco activities to attract more customers. This is the end of our presentation for today on differentiation between glass and plastic packagings for skincare products on the example of cream. And that's all. Thank you for your attention, and here is the list of references for your information. And goodbye.